Hi, so in this video I'm going to give an introduction to the statement of financial position. So this is one of our financial statements that we'll find in a set of accounts, and the statement of financial position in particular is a list of all the assets and liabilities of a business at a given point in time. So I've underlined the key words we're looking at there, so we only care about the assets and liabilities of a business, but perhaps even more importantly, we need to remember that we are looking at a given point in time. When we look at some of the other financial statements that a business will produce, we will notice that some of them are recorded over a period of time, and often we see that they're recorded over the period of a year or 12 months. However, a statement of financial position is giving us a sort of snapshot of the current position of a business. So it is saying what the assets and liabilities are at one point in time. So the purpose of this statement is to show the total value of the net assets of the business at the end of each accounting period. So this is what our point in time is going to be. It's going to be the final day of our accounting period. We often might see this as the 31st of December, which also happens to be the end of the calendar year, but we can also see businesses that see the end of their accounting period on, say, the 31st of March, or different businesses and different companies or different countries have different norms as to when their accounting period ends, so it could be on any date really, but these are some of the more common ones we see. So this is what a statement of financial position is. What I've done is drawn up an example statement, so some of this may make a little bit more sense, and this might match up more closely with what you're likely to see in the real world. So we've got an example here, and the statement of financial position will probably begin with a line something like this, where we say statement of financial position for, then we insert the name of the business. Here we've got Blogs Limited, and it will say the date, and this date will be the final day of the accounting period for this one. This is the 31st of March, and we're looking at a statement from 2010. So as we said, the statement of financial position, we care about our assets and we care about our liabilities. And in our video on assets, we know how this is split between current assets and non-current assets. So we will report the value of all of these assets. And so our current assets, some examples of this will be cash and equivalent, our inventory or our stock, and our trade and receivables. And in our statement of financial position, we will say the value of these. So I've got this pound column here, which we might more commonly see pounds in millions, or depending how big the firm is, it could be thousands of pounds or whatever. And let's say that the business has £2 million of cash. We'd have a 2 here. The value of their inventory is 5 million, and their trade and receivables is 1 million. We'd have all these figures here, and then we have our non-current assets, which I said in the previous video, that these are our longer-term loans. Well, we can have the value of our property, plant, and equipment, which might say be 20 million, our goodwill, which we value at 5 million, and the value of our investments. Sorry about my phone going off, I should have turned that off, but our investments, let's say they're £2 million, and then our assets will be summed up. And if I do that quick sum, because I've just put these random numbers down, that's 8, 28, 33, 35. Apologies if I've done that wrong in my head just very quickly, but we get a value of all the assets in the business. And then equally we have our liabilities, which, as we saw before, they're split between non-current and current liabilities. And we might also have a section for our capital and reserves, which I haven't explained in a video, but I will go into detail in a separate video, but it's kind of a detour for this video. But okay, we'll have our liabilities section, and we'll have capital and reserves, which might look at the value of our ordinary shares and our preference shares, also the reserves of the business and the retained earnings. And again, we'll have some values for this. Let's just put in a load of random numbers. And so our non-current liabilities, which is our longer term liabilities, we might have loan notes. We then have our current liabilities, so our shorter term liabilities. So we might have 2 million in short-term borrowing, 1 million in trade and payables, and £2 million in tax that we owe. And again, we will sum up our total liabilities. So we got 5, 8, 13. So we'll have 18 million again. Apologies if I've added that up incorrectly. But then we get our total assets and our total liabilities. And then at the bottom of our statement of financial position, we may have something that says net assets, which I think I forgot to put in here. But then this will be our total assets minus our total liabilities, which, if my maths is correct, would be 17 million, and this was in pounds and millions. But okay, I've just made up a load of numbers on the spot here and probably added them together incorrectly, but this is what our statement of financial position does. So it's quite simple really. We're just stating what the company owns and what the company owes, and again, this is to meet our purpose, to show the value of the net assets. Does the business own more than it owes? And so from this we get the information is, well, pretty much that's what it tells us. Does the company own more than it owes? So that's the purpose of this financial statement at a point in time. Of course, this is not all there is to a business, and that's why we have lots of other financial statements, and I will get to those in future videos, but that is a quick introduction to the statement of financial position. Please do leave a like if it was at all useful. Make sure to check out the playlist for more accounting content, and do subscribe to add some econ to your subscription feed.